Hello friends, welcome to HR Box channel. In this video we are going to discuss about policy. What is policy and what is types of policy? The most important things, how to create a policy for your organization. In general, there are 4 types of policy, like public policy, organization policy, functional policy, and specific policy. When we are talking about a public policy, this means that the government authorities are responsible to create a policy for the public. For instance, the Ministry of Transportation is in charge to have a policy in order to guide the people that in which side of the road they should drive their vehicles. Number 2, organizational policy. When we are talking about the organization policy, it covers both, whether it could be private organization or non-private organization. They all should have a policies in order to deal with their daily activities. This is called organization policies. Number 3, functional policies. Friends, when 2 or more than 2 organizations are deciding to work together in a specific project, so they used to have these kind of policies, or we call function policy, in order to deal with their activities. Number 4, specific policy. Friends, when we name from a specific policy, this means that we are talking about a policy which is for a short period of time. For example, when COVID-19 pandemic came, all organizations decided to have a policy that how to deal with this problem during this pandemic. But when the pandemic ends, so we don't need for this policy. That's why we call it a short period policy. Friends, in order to create a policy, there are certain steps that you need to consider. The first step is identifying your needs. Do I need a policy? If yes, what type of policy do I need to create? This is very important. You need to identify first. So once you identify your need, you're going to the next step, which is identifying that who would take the leads. For example, if you're creating a policy for your finance department, so of course the finance director or head of finance would be in charge to take the leads. Of course, HR and other department will support them, but the person who is in charge of finance should take the leads. So first, once you identify your needs, that what type of policy you need, and the second step is to identify who will take the lead. Once you did the first and second step, you are going to the third step, which is gathering information. In order to get an information, we need for 2 types of information: the primary information and secondary information. The primary information or primary data is the information that we have within our organization. And the secondary information or data is the information that we need to extract or to get from our competitors. So you can extract some information from their policy. After gathering information, you're going to draft the policies. So once you draft the policy, then you used to share your draft policy with the coordination team or with the management team to have their inputs. And once you receive their inputs in your policy, you're going to the next stage, which is legalities issue. So you have to, normally in some companies, they are a consultancy company that they have a contract with the lawyers. In some countries, the organization, you can directly contact with the lawyers to compare your policy or review your policy based on the government law. Once it's approved from these steps, then you're in the final steps to send your policy, your final draft policy to the board of directors in order to approve it. So once it's approved, then you are going to the final stage, which is implementing your policy. But friends, before implementing the policy, don't forget that there are some certain policies which needs to have a procedure in order to implement it. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment for more videos.